Hey guys, one thing I've noticed recently, we have a big problem in the trades, and that is there's not enough young people coming back into the trades to replenish all of the older guys that are starting to retire or that are done working in their career path. So since we've been doing this special Patreon channel, we've been asking the top tier carpenters in the nation this question. And that question is, if you were just getting started and you were starting your business, or you're just getting started into the trades or working for another company, what would your advice be for that young person that's trying to level up in the industry? And if you want to see even more and where these clips came from, go subscribe to our Patreon channel. So here's 5 of the top carpenters in the nation giving you free advice.
I got something for you.
Yeah, lay it on us.
If you were to give one piece of advice to someone who is starting out, or someone who's maybe wanting to start their own business, or kind of walk, and either of you could answer this if you want, anyone who wants to be in your position, what would you say?
Do the next right thing, whatever that is, man. There's no answer to it all, but do the next right thing. You know, if that means putting together a team, put together a team. If that means understanding the dynamics of how you're going to build and get better at it day by day, then go do that. Find your lane, get really good at what you need to do, what you want to do, and don't spread yourself too thin, right? Like there were times that I wanted to do stuff that, I mean, if we were going to go through the mistakes that I've made, this would be a 3-level podcast that would take days to go, right? Yeah, Calvin, it's a good question, but I think that what I would say is keep it simple, become an expert at what you can become an expert at, and build upon that, and just simply do the next right thing for your business, no matter where it's at. I think I think right now with today's economy, with all that's going on, I think the things that we need to remind ourselves of is that the world's not going to end with whatever's going on in DC. And we just need to stay focused on the fact that people will keep living, and people will need outdoor living spaces. It's not a need like tires, toilet paper, and shingles, but it is a need. And so there's a space for it. Every year, according to NADRA, there's 33 million decks that need to be replaced in the United States. That's a staggering number. And needing to be replaced just means they got into their 26th year.
I got 10 of them.
If you're listening to this and you're starting out, just keep going and do that next right thing. When you go, oh my gosh, it's daunting. Don't worry about next year. Don't worry about next month. Worry about tomorrow. Keep your feet where you are. Plan the best you can, and just do the next right thing.
I thought of another one, and take this as you will. What's one piece of advice you would say to someone like at your level maybe, or similar, who wants, or like is a couple steps below your level, who wants to get to your level? Like they've been building decks for a while, they're considered a professional, anything like that?
Honestly, Calvin, it's hard for me to even think that, there's so many out there that I look up to. Your dad's one of them.
I think it's going to be back in the earlier podcast where you were talking about sometimes you got to jump, It's like sometimes, I wasn't sure if I was right, but you've got that killer instinct where maybe you need to develop the confidence to get to that next level. Okay, here's what I would say. Don't be and I'm going to say this PG, don't be afraid to mess up. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. I've made so many. You got to make mistakes to perfect your craft. But, do your research, grind hard, and be consistent. That's what I would say. And consistency is key, man. And just about anything you apply yourself to, if you can be consistent and continue on, and don't be afraid to work, and don't be afraid to fail.
Yeah. No, that's a good one. With the jump, what you mentioned. I say it this way to the team, and I'll do the PG one too. It's not the F up, it's the fix. It's not the ball drop, it's the bounce back, right? Like we're all going to mess up. It's not the mess up, it's the fix, right? Yeah. And so that's where the beauty lies. Is how do we fix the mess up? Do we learn from it? And the beauty of, I think, what we all do in dealing with homeowners is we get there's a little bit of a grace there, meaning, everyone is human, and when we go into their place, their refuge, their castle, their place that they live, there's an emotional side of what we do. And so if there's someone that happens to drop the ball in the sales process, guess what? Pick the phone up and call that client. They're human too. Maybe they've messed up, right? I hear too many times people go, oh, they didn't call me back. We're going to look up one day and there's, hopefully I'm wrong here, but there's going to be a lack of people that can build what we're building.
No, you're right.
And I think it's our job to, Calvin, you mentioned, someone that has been building a while. I think one of the things that is very important is that we continue to train the next generation. Like I'm still blown away with people that are in our industry, that don't give back to it in some form or fashion, whether it's be a member of NADRA, which is the only association that we have, or do some kind of networking with in and around the industry as it is. So I think collectively we got to do something there. And I know that's a little off topic of what you're asking me, but in terms of talking to someone, definitely don't be afraid. If there's something that you're capable of doing, expand that. If you're getting really good at you're good at the right lane, you're good at the middle lane, and you want to expand over towards the fast lane, go with it the same passion that you had to start the business, and be as good at it as you can be, And you're going to make mistakes and fix them as you go, course correct as you go.
I have two things on that one. One is never stop learning. And never comma, this will be a very long run-on sentence. Never stop learning and never think that you know it all. So things are going to change. I don't do things the way I used to. We should constantly be trying to improve. So you got to take in the knowledge. Trade shows, the Build Show, drdecks on YouTube, even things that aren't, I really like to watch the Perkins brothers. They do things much differently than I do. But that's so this here for you, Calvin. So years ago, I used to subscribe to Guitar World. And
hey, now you're talking.
Yeah, since you're a shredder. So Kirk Hammett wrote the column. I mean, this is probably late 90s, mid to late 90s. And I've seen him in interviews since then, and he says he's not a fan of jazz, but he makes himself learn to play jazz because it's an entirely different pattern of thinking and playing.
Exactly.
So you get it. So I feel like that is the exact analogy is I can watch people that do things differently than me. And while that might not be the way I do it, it might change my thinking about how I do it and then therefore better. So I think we got to stay open-minded. And then the thing for business and in construction, do not get caught up in the hype of the appearance that you're successful. My dad drove a RAV4 for 10 years. He's never done the sports car thing. He didn't drive like a Mercedes G-Wagon or an SUV, luxury SUV, even if he could afford it, because you never know what the future is going to hold, and cars lose their value anyway. So why not just drive something reliable and functional and invest in your business and also hedge against the future? So when you get your first big paycheck or 2 or 3, don't go buy the truck. Only buy that stuff if you need it to do your job. So like your big rig, Jason, could you really do your job well without that thing?
Not as good as I do.
Yeah.
But I drove a 1996 GMC W4 for almost 30 years before I bought that 2021 F550. But man, when I have to go to the dump, like when I have to dump a demo load, it pays for itself just because I just go boom and I'm gone.
And that's 30 years into your career.
Yes, 30 years. I would invest in myself, like you say. And that's what I've done. I've invested in myself, and I've also tried to be a little more careful with my. I think as a young builder, you need to take care of your body.
Yeah.
Health is wealth. That is no joke. And it's probably the one thing that I wish I would have paid a little bit more attention as I was growing up, that if you don't have your health, you got nothing.
Yeah.
If you can't go out and do what you do because you're sick or you got ailments.
Yeah, and that's, I think there's a larger part to that besides just because I agree with you completely. That informed, I really got into weightlifting as a young person in part because I enjoyed it, but the other part was training for my job. Mm-hmm. So you learn how to, people are like, you're not supposed to bend over and pick things up. Well, what do you call deadlifts? And what do you call good mornings?
Yeah.
So yes, you can do that safely for kind of that young person that's kind of getting, they're on their feet and they're kind of making that transition. It's just being more thought out Like really think of like I just got all my taxes done. I was talking to the accountant, and he was hoping to retire at 55, and he's like, in this state and with the stock market. And so we were just talking, and I told him how we sold a house, and the guy, we carried the note for a couple of years, and then the guy came in and paid it off 1 year in. I think he was waiting on another house sale. So I think he's a retired chemical engineer. And Brian's like, I think the guy's got like 4 or 5 houses. So, okay, you look at somebody like that, let's say he's in his mid 60s, retired chemical engineer, and his nest egg or wealth is in property and houses. So he's made good moves. Well, if that was his goal, then when did he start working toward it? Well, probably in his 20s when he went to college to become a chemical engineer. Do you think he regrets that now?
No.
It's like, no.
No.
But look at the number of people that go out of business in the trades. And a lot of it is because they weren't paying attention to the number side, and they didn't have any self-control.
Yeah, and Calvin always asks a question, but unfortunately Calvin had to stay muted because we forgot a pair of our headphones today. If you had one piece of advice to give a young up-and-coming carpenter or framer, let's say, that wanted to emulate you or become something like you, what kind of advice would you give them?
Honestly, just don't think that anything in this world is free.
Nothing's free.
Nothing's free. Everything is you get what you work for.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm a firm believer in that. I'm a firm believer in that, man. You got to put in the grind. Put in the grind, man. Don't be afraid. Go ahead.
It helps you feel a lot better about getting where you get from that as well. Mm-hmm. Rather than just showing up for work and expecting somebody to give you a raise or give you this or that. You know, when you grind it out and you actually earn something, the reward is way better.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. That's good advice. It's solid dad advice. You know, like
I mean,
hey,
I've had practice.
Joe, man, like we're from the same era. I think, you know, like I feel you 100%.
I feel like it's so cliche, and I've already talked about it, but it's like you have to be open to learning. Like, I don't know, I feel like a lot of this younger generation, because I've had some kids that worked for me in Maine. It's just like they're all yeppers, you know, yep, instead of like actually learning and wanting to learn instead of pretending that they know it all, if that makes any sense. I just know that when I started out, I was so intrigued and interested by all the older guys around me that knew this craft. I was so interested in that, and I would show up on Saturdays, and I would show up early, and I would just watch. And since I was there to watch, they enjoyed the company, and they would bring me in and show me what they were doing, and I just absorbed all of it, man. Like, you know, I don't know. I feel like that's lost. It's just everybody just wants to think they know everything, and they don't, because I'm 20 years into this and 38 years old, and I'm still learning every day. So just never stop learning. There's always more information for you to learn and hone in on your craft the best you can. So,
and don't do drugs.
Yeah. If you start thinking, so this is what I'll say about sobriety. If the thought ever comes into your mind that you're like, do I have a problem? You definitely have a problem, because normal people don't ever ask themselves that.
I would say that you have a great opportunity right now, because we're lacking, good, reputable builders all across the country. So it doesn't matter what sector or market you're in. I think that success is obviously going to be determined by each individual person. But if you just want to make money, you can make a lot of money being a contractor, but you're going to work hard. You're going to put in a lot of hours. You're going to take the jobs you don't want, but it's not hard to find the work if you're a good person. You answer your phone, you give people fair prices, but most importantly, you deliver on the promise that you sold to that client during those whatever job meetings where you're trying to tell them who you are and what you do. If you just do those things, I never paid for marketing in my entire life. I never went into any radio ads or any magazines or newspapers, local or what. I just did the best I could do, and I always tried to do better than I did last time. And if you always are in that mentality where you're gonna figure out how to do something to the best of your ability for your client, man, you can make a ton of money. And if you love it, here's the thing. I see so many people jumping on social media because they want a free, this, or they want to make money. That's fine. And you can probably do that. And if you're consistent and you work hard, you will make some money. But if you don't love it, if you're not passionate about sharing, if you don't like creating videos, if you don't want to be in front of the camera, but you just want that free thing, don't even bother, man.
Yeah.
Like,
don't waste your time.
Yeah, people see through it. The brands who have all the money see through it. There's a level of like, you just get a big channel, great, you'll make some money, but do what you love. If you don't love what you're doing, if you're not passionate about it, if you don't wake up in the morning or you don't lay in bed at night thinking about the next day and how you can, do the tasks that you have to do better, or how you can do it differently, if those aren't the things you're thinking about, you're probably not in the right path, and you'll be fine, but you're not going to be, in my eyes, successful. Because for me, success is being happy with what I'm doing, but knowing that I'm going to do better next time because I'm willing to, be humble, know that I don't know it all. And I'm excited to like, how can I make it better? And that's like how I live my life. As soon as it's done, as soon as I'm not passionate about that, wake up on Monday morning, I'm going to find something else because I don't want to do it.